Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a story coming out right now about Helldivers apparently removing the game from Steam in over 150 countries. Now, this is very important because a lot of people were talking about the mandated PSN to Steam link that all players have to do. And the first question that came to mind is, what about those players who live in a country where you sold the game and they don't have PSN? Well, apparently, now we have the answer.
I've made a huge mistake.
So we have an article here from The Gamer with a headline that reads, Helldivers 2 removed from purchase on Steam in over 150 countries. The hits keep coming for Helldivers 2 as the PSN sign-in controversy has led it to being delisted from Steam in over 100 countries. Now listen, guys, the fact that they removed the game from over 150 countries, in my opinion, proves that none of this was supposed to be the case from the get-go. As much as they want to say that this was always supposed to be the case, and we've shown so much proof that that is not the case, this further, in my opinion, proves that they were not going to make this a thing at all. Steam is a very smart company, okay? Steam is a very smart retailer that they know that they're not going to be able to sell games like this and not get their asses sued if the game is not going to be made available once they decide to enact some sort of thing that was always meant to be there. I think that there is someone lying here, whether it's Sony, Steam, Helldivers, Arrowheads, whatever. Somebody is lying to someone here, and there is a lot of confusion. So let's get into this article, guys, from The Gamer. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, again, guys, for me, Steam, in my opinion, would not do this. I don't think Steam would knowingly sell these games to these countries, knowing that after 3 months, these games will be essentially bricked for them. There's no way, because now that they're removing the games from those countries, now that they know the truth and what's happening, that goes to show that if we should have known better, right? If you're saying that gamers should have known better because it was listed that it was mandatory, right? Even though the terms of service was changed and all that, and we'll get into it. If we should have known better, then what about Steam? You mean to tell me Steam should have known better too? Because apparently Steam also thought that it was optional. Steam thought since the beginning that it was optional. Otherwise, they wouldn't have sold these games in the countries that they're currently taking them down from. You know what I mean? So we have highlights here. It says Helldivers 2 has had one of the roughest weeks in gaming history after PlayStation announced that PC players will be required to log into PSN. Now, keep in mind, at the time of recording this video, there is currently, you ready for this? 240,000 negative reviews. Ladies and gentlemen, just as of yesterday, when yesterday started, it was at 120,000 reviews. It went up another 120,000 reviews in just 24 hours. It's absolutely insane. Considering a lot of areas of the world don't actually have PSN right now, that effectively makes Helldivers 2 unplayable in certain countries. This has been recognized on Steam, with 177 countries now unable to purchase the game at all. Now, you gotta wonder, what is Steam going to do for the players that were affected by this, right? Like, if you went and bought the game in a country that doesn't have PSN, what is Steam gonna do? Are you gonna hope that Sony decides to not want to reinforce the rule in those countries? But then the question comes up, if you're not gonna reinforce the rule in those countries, then that shows me that this is not really about safety. This is not about keeping players safe. This is not about being able to ban people easier or whatever the case may be. It just seems like you're trying to get as many people to sign up for PSN as possible and using the word safety as a means to do so. Because if you're going to not enforce it elsewhere, but enforce it here in the States, then yeah, you deserve to get ridiculed for it. You deserve to get called out for it. And you are obviously lying about this supposedly being a thing since the beginning. It says, after spending most of 2024 so far as one of the most popular games of the year, and even one of the best-selling games from PlayStation in recent memory, Helldivers 2 seems to take one of the biggest falls from grace in gaming history. Just a few days ago, PlayStation announced that PC players on Steam will be required to log into PSN in order to play the game. Now, we already went over many different discussions about my personal feelings as to why I don't want to link my 20-year Steam account to the most compromised system in the entire gaming industry, okay? Like, PlayStation Network is by far the most compromised fucking network that's out there. You cannot, even the biggest Sony boy cannot like avoid that fact. That is an absolute fact, and nobody in their right mind, if they can avoid PSN, they will, right? When it comes to linking their Steam account, like I said to all these guys, right? I have PSN because I have a PlayStation, but I'm not going to link my Steam to my PSN. There is a reason why they are separate. I refuse to link the two. I don't want to risk my 20-year Steam account just because you want to garner more PSN's numbers or whatever subscriptions, even though for me, I already have a PSN, so you really wouldn't be getting a number from me. It says Sony backed this up by claiming that it was for player protection. Again, bullshit notion, because if it was for player protection, you would be reinforcing it everywhere regardless of the fact. And also, not only that, I just realized from another article that I read, and I'll make a separate video on it, that apparently PC players make up almost 70% of the current Helldiver community, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, 70% of the player base is in PC. So this is a big gamble for Helldivers. It says, as bad as things have been for Helldivers 2 on Steam over the past few days, there's always been a little optimism that PlayStation will realize how badly this has all gone and reverse it. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that certainly doesn't seem like it's happening anytime soon. As shared by SteamDB Twitter page, Helldivers 2 now has removed from sale on Steam in over 100 countries. Just over 10 hours ago, Helldivers 2 SteamDB page was updated to add restrictions on which countries will be able to purchase the game on Steam. Through a very lengthy changelog, we can see the total of 177 countries are now unable to purchase Helldivers 2 on PC, including Bermuda, Ghana, Jamaica, and a whole bunch of others. Now, I myself, on Saturday Night Hypnosis, I said that I'm going to take this removal of the game from these countries as some form of admission that Sony is absolutely going to double down. Sony is going to double down. They are not going to reverse anything, because I will say that Steam probably reached out to Sony, got a statement from Sony, and they asked them, hey, are you thinking about reversing this change? Because if not, you have put us in such a clusterfuck in terms of legality that we're going to have to stop the sale of your game in these countries. Otherwise, we're going to be open up not only to a lawsuit, but also massive amounts of refund, thus profit loss and everything like that. We're just going to stop sale. Are you going to reverse or are you not? And Sony probably said, yep, no, we're not going to reverse. This 100% is going to be mandatory. And Steam said, okay, let's just nuke it and get rid of it. Like I'm telling you right now, that's what I'm taking this removal as. It says, going through the list is a little like the Countries of the World song from the Animaniacs, but with a far more depressing tone. Arrowhead has already made it clear it doesn't agree with the requirement and wants to change it, but we'll have to wait and see how PlayStation responds to the controversy. So, again, guys, I'm not expecting anything good to come out of this. I would almost guarantee. Look at this list. This list is insane. You guys, I don't know if you can see this, but I mean, they have the flags next to the names. I mean, this is crazy. This is a crazy amount of places that now, first off, these are all places that have players that bought the game. Think about that. So now you have all of these places that suddenly cannot buy the game, and then the people who did buy the game, now they can't play the game. So, I mean, it is such a massive clusterfuck that Sony has decided to put themselves in for a situation that was supposedly always supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many signs and so many different things that are happening around us that is obviously not meant to be something that was planned since the beginning. None of this was planned since the beginning. They knew that they had an optional connection, and they decided, for whatever reason, they need to make it mandatory. So they decided to change the terms of service on their own website to match their new change, and thought that the internet was not going to catch it, and we did. So, I mean, listen, guys, Arrowhead Studios, I don't know what you're going to do. It's quite unfortunate because I myself enjoyed the game. A lot of people I know personally on YouTube obviously enjoy your game. Everybody was streaming it. Everybody was playing it, and they would have loved to continue. But now you're going to have to deal with the consequences. I mean, Sony unfortunately fucked you as much as they're trying to fuck the gamers. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.